All right, this is the third side of the study guide for Week 3 Thursday, triangle inequality. Number 15, read please.
Okay, number 15. Very mixed cereal comes in 3 grams boxes. Okay, the amount of cereal can vary by no more than 14.5 grams. Like the inequality that represents the same.
Okay, so it can vary by no more than this many, correct? That means it could either be above, like way more than that, or way below that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So then when we write the inequality, it's going to be x. So x can be 340 gram minus 14.5 gram, right? Or it could be 340 grams plus 14.5 gram. Do you see that? This is what it comes in, right? But sometimes it's not always accurate, right? It says it varies this. So it could be smaller than this, like this, or bigger than this, correct? Do you see that? So then write that down. And so how this is going to look is, look up here for a second. 340 minus 14.5, which is then going to give you 325.5 grams. So this is the lowest it can be, right? Or the highest it can be is 340 plus 14.5 gram. 40 plus 14.5, which is 354.5 gram. Do you see that? This is your answer. Do you see that? If you have a box of berry kicks that weighs this much, is this 338.6 between this number here and between this number here?
I don't know.
Look, 325.5, 354.5 is 338.6 grams between 325.5 grams and 354.5 grams. Just read it. Is it between that?
So
338. Is 338 between 325 and 354?
yeah.
Yes. So did he cheat? No, because 338.6 grams is between the limits of 325.5 less than x, 354.5. Does that make sense? So he didn't cheat. It's between that. Now, if his was 360 gram, do you see how that is above 325.5 and 354.5? Then he did cheat. Does that make sense? Inequality just means like you can have a box of cereal, but it has it between these two numbers because they don't always measure the exact same weight. Sometimes it might fluctuate a little bit. Does that make sense?
That doesn't make sense.
What do you mean it doesn't make sense?
I don't understand what you're saying.
Read it again.
If 360 grams
15.
berries cake cereal comes in 340 grams boxes.
So how many grams is it for the cereal?
340 grams.
340 grams. 1 gram is like the weight of an M&M. It's very small, right? So the amount of cereal can vary by no more than this, okay? Because it's not going to be an exact weight, correct? So it could either be 340 minus this or 340 plus this. 340 minus this is the smallest it can be, right? 340 plus this is the biggest it can be. So your boxes of cereal can be anywhere between 320 grams, 25 grams, and 354 grams. Does that make sense? And it's still acceptable, right? Anything below this, anything above this is not acceptable. Do you understand? B, if you have a box of cereal that weighs 338 grams, did you cheat? Well, is 338 between these two limits?
Yeah.
So then you didn't cheat. I said if it was 360 grams, is 360 grams between these two limits?
No.
No, it's above, correct? Then if it's above, then he did cheat because this one is too heavy. Does that make sense? Okay, number 15.
A person can afford to spend almost $75 for a birthday dinner for her best friend, including a 15% tip. If she invites 3 friends plus herself and the birthday roll, and everyone eat the same thing, what the maximum amount of each person can spend?
She can only spend $75. That's all she has in her bank, right?
Yeah.
Can't be above that. Okay, she can spend below that, which is great because then she saves some money left over, right? For a birthday dinner for her best friends, including a 15% tip. So when you're buying dinner, you can't just go, oh, well, it's $75. No, you have to calculate 15%, right? How would you calculate the 15% of $75?
Divide.
75 times 0.15 will give you how much you'll spend on tips. Do you understand? Not divide, it's multiply. It's saying 15% of 75 is what? Of implies multiply. If she invites 3 friends plus herself, so that's 4 people, right? And the birthday girl. So how many people are there? 3 friends, herself, plus birthday girl. How many people is that?
I don't know.
3 friends, herself, and a birthday girl. What?
9.
How do you get 9? How many people is that? Three friends plus herself and the birthday girl. So how many people is that?
5.
5. And they eat the same thing, so everybody has the same plate that costs the same amount, right? If X is the amount of money per plate, right? It'll be X times 5 because there's 5 people, correct? Do you understand that?
No.
If you go order a pizza and a pizza costs $10, correct? And everybody wants their own pizza. How many people are there? First off, how many people are there?
I don't know.
It's right here. 3 friends, herself, and the birthday girl. How many people is gonna go inside dinner? 5. Everybody wants their own pizza. One pizza costs $10. What would you do with 5 and 10?
Divide.
One pizza is, okay, you know what? You're not getting this. Let's say we go over to McDonald's. Everybody wants their own hamburger. A hamburger is $10, right? If we divide that, that means we buy 1 hamburger and everybody eat a 5th of that hamburger, correct? Are we gonna do that? Everybody has to share 1 hamburger? So we're not dividing. What are we doing? If everybody wants their own hamburger, what do we do? Multiply. So if you're gonna find the tax, it is gonna be the amount it costs, correct?
Okay.
Times 0.15. This is the cost of the food. Do you understand?
Okay.
5 people times X. X is per plate, okay? This part is the total amount of food times 0.15, which is the tip, the money for the tip. So we need to put the money for the food plus the money for the tip. That will give you the total, which has to be less than 75.
Why are we using 5x?
How do you find the tip? You need to know how much the food costs, correct? And how much is the food? 5x.
Okay.
What is the maximum amount that each person can spend? 5x plus 0.75x has to be less than $75, right?
Yeah.
When I add these two together, that's 5.75x less than $75. This is a total bill. Do you understand? I don't want the total bill. I want each person, correct? Now, if you want each person, then you split it by 5 because each person has their own, correct? So if this has divided by 5, this right here would tell you what each person has to spend. Make sense? So if I were to go ahead and solve for this, multiply by 5 on both sides. 75 times 5, which is 375. Then you divide it by 5.75. $375 divided by 5.75 is $62.21. One second. I think I did something wrong here. That doesn't look right. I'll go back to it. That's okay. I'll go back to it later. So for number 7, graphing this, where do I start?
My equation,
Where do you start though? How do you graph it?
at -5,
Then where do we go?
you go up 3, or you go, I don't know.
If you're staying home, you better be using this time wisely because right now this is not good. You're going up 2 over to the right 3. If you run out of space, can you also go down?
Yeah.
And then you go to the left. Open or close circle. Really?
Oh,
Right or left?
right.
Really?
I don't know.
You need to memorize your notes. If it is eating a letter, you go to the right. If it is not eating the letter, Y, you go to the left. That is not difficult.
Shading? Like you're shading to the right or the left? I don't.
I mean, up or down is what I meant. Shade up, shade down. Here we go. It is, hold on, solid or, that's what I meant, solid or dotted line.
Solid.
And you shade up, no, down. Correct?
Yeah.
This one's in standard form. You gotta solve for Y, correct? Explain how you will solve for Y.
So, do you like move the -3 under the -4? Is that like what you do?
If you need to solve for Y, how do I get Y by itself? What do I need to move?
3.
Nope, can't move the 3 without the 4. Gotta get rid of the 4 first. Subtract the 4x on both sides. Then divide it by a -3. You really have a lot to go over. I'm gonna have you do this one on your own. So grab your paper, do it yourself.